From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brew, the official beer Pucks Out podcast. Check them out every Tuesday for Singo and Thursday for Bingo, where you'll always meet someone new and make a friend. Today we've got the NBA playoffs, we've got the NFL draft, and the NHL playoffs. So we got a little bit of everything. We're jumping straight into it. We're gonna do the outside the NHL. We got our main topic. We're gonna talk about the end of this season's games of the week, and of course we got joke of the week. How are you this week, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Pushing through. Got lots of sports on for sure. NFL draft was great. Got to start planning our rookie draft. Hopefully do something live maybe. But man, I'm doing good. You know, just hanging out, chilling. How you doing, bro?
Doing great, man. The light is at the end of the tunnel for the school year. Very, 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 very busy right now. I teach mainly seniors, so they're kind of, they're excited. They've got a lot going on these next 2 weeks until graduation.
Right.
But just trying to push through these next couple weeks and get to summer break, which then I've got a bunch of MTSU classes I got to take for my master's program. So, but I'm excited for summer break. I'm excited for Crawfish Boil. I'm excited for the Beer Fest.
Yes.
And just to have a good time.
Yeah, summer's always great, bro. I'm super jazzed up about it. I need to hit a pool for sure.
Oh yeah. I think that might be. I might hit my mom's pool this coming up week or so, depending on the weather.
Yeah, it's just been up and down, so it hasn't been really available just yet. To be fair, it is April 30th, so we could stand to chill just a bit.
Yeah. But all right, so no NHL news because we're going to be talking about that when we get to the playoffs.
Playoffs?
And then
playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
No, it's time to talk about playoffs. We're in the playoffs. Now's the time.
Fair enough.
Talk about the playoffs.
Fair enough.
But we will jump straight into outside the NHL. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, so starting off with the NBA playoffs. I have not been watching it, but I did see the Lakers were eliminated by Denver 4-1.
Yeah, also haven't been watching it, but figured it's happening.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, see how it's going. Yeah, Lakers out, Denver advanced.
The Suns eliminated by Minnesota.
Also swept. Anthony Edwards is absolutely dominating right now.
The Lakers were not swept. They lost 4-1.
I'm sorry. They won. The Nuggets let them win one so they could win at home. It was OKC. OKC swept the Pelicans. Charles Barkley. I don't know if you saw some of those comments.
Go to Galveston.
Man, we ain't gonna let him go to Cancun. We can make him go to Galveston with that dirty ass water. Yeah, so the Thunder advance. The T-Wolves. I don't know if you saw that Bradley Beal stuff. He said, "I'll be damned if we get swept. I ain't never been swept in my career. I'll be damned if it happens now." And then they interviewed him. Super funny when you got to say that when you're down 3-0, and then they come to you and he's like, "Well, I'll be damned." So that was pretty good, man. I really like that. But the T-Wolves are looking good, dude. This Timberwolves Nuggets matchup. I'm not a huge NBA playoffs guy, but man, it might be worth watching if you want to see some fantastical dunks or highlights. Knicks maybe eliminating the 76ers. They're up 3-1. Embiid had a 50-point game, so they won that one. Bucks having injury problems, man. So Cavaliers Magic still 2-2, and then the Celtics Heat 3-1. I think we've seen this before, right? Didn't this happen last year? I think so. So good luck to Boston in closing it out. But it doesn't matter. Who do you got? Who do you got in the NBA Finals?
I'm gonna take Celtics and Mavericks.
Celtics Mavs. Okay, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
I'm gonna go
Nuggets and I'm gonna go Nuggets and the Celtics. Yeah, I like your Celtics pick. There's nobody. The Knicks. I think they'll Knicks themselves. I don't know that they'll be able to pull it off. So hey, but they've been playing some good basketball too. Jalen Brunson's pretty nasty. So we'll just have to see. We'll revisit next week or in the next couple weeks and just see, and then we'll make new predictions, man. And we'll never write them down, and we'll never know unless one of them hits, and we'll be like, yeah, obviously I called that. Friggin' genius. So.
Yeah. After the Lakers' devastating loss, LeBron came out and said that his final season will definitely be played with his son. So it's going to be interesting to see which Chinese basketball team he goes to.
Right. Which accounting
goddamn, his son is not good enough for the NBA.
Which accounting firm has a rec team is going to be very fun to find out, dude. No, I think the Lakers have already come out and were like, yeah, we'll make it happen. So, I guess they're just going to throw away a draft pick to make LeBron's dream come true. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and that's crazy that LeBron couldn't work with the team, but like, hey, I'll tell my son to not enter the draft, and we just pick him up like as a free agent. Like making them waste the draft pick is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know that he could do that.
Well, why?
Because
then he just say, "Hey, I'm not going to play basketball." Then in a year, say, "Oh, I play basketball."
Psyched him. I mean, yeah, I don't know the league. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, maybe, but then why wouldn't
I thought this was America?
Be like, yeah, I guess you just don't declare for the draft, and you're just like a really good. You just like walk on lots of teams. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what type of. I think maybe you have to be drafted. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is what happens. Because that's
who knows?
Or
maybe I'm the first one to think about it, and everybody's like, wow, we didn't know we could do that.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Bob, you've answered our question without directly answering it. The fact that we think that Bobby is the first guy that no GM, nobody that ever wanted to play on a specific team,
someone who doesn't watch NBA,
thought about that. They're like, shit, dude.
Maybe they just needed an outside. They just needed an outside opinion.
Right.
Right?
They're
too long. They've only been
They're so inside the box.
They've been in an echo chamber.
They're so inside the box thinking with a bunch of yes men rolling around there saying, hey, the draft is the only way, when realistically, Bobby, we're just going to trade all our draft picks and have our guys not go to the draft, and then we'll just sign them, dude. Friggin' circled that. We're good, bro. We're good.
Yeah.
So we'll look into
imagine
that,
if like we found out like Caleb Williams is like, I'm not declaring for the draft, and it's like 3 weeks later, the Patriots picked up Caleb Williams.
Right, they picked him up off free agency. Everybody's like, what a story, dude. This guy was just at home on his couch. Dude, ultimate rags to riches story, dude. Oh my gosh, man.
The Bears go whine. He's like, Goodell, they cheated.
There's nothing in the rules that say you can't. When they asked him why he didn't declare for the draft, he was just like, nah. and just didn't. They told him he had to go to the draft, that he couldn't just sign with the team. He said, why? And nobody had a good answer, so he just signed with who he wanted to sign with.
Speaking of rules and rules changing, let's talk about Reggie Bush getting his Heisman Trophy back.
Okay.
Long overdue. One of the greatest to ever play. Honestly, it's great seeing someone get their Heisman Trophy back. Especially when it wasn't like, he did it the right way. He didn't go to Las Vegas and steal and rob someone for it.
Right. That's fair. He did not rob anybody for the trophy. No, and I mean, and we talked about this. We've talked about this a couple years ago before a lot of the NIL stuff kind of started coming to the forefront and all this stuff being now legal, what he's doing. I was never against him necessarily having. I'm sure you could pull clips of me being against it or whatever, but it wasn't like he was out there doping, dude, using steroids and like all this stuff, dude. He had an apartment or whatever, and it was, it was very nice. So yeah, one of the greatest college football players ever. Also part of one of the greatest tweets ever. I don't know if you remember when Reggie Bush tweeted out complaining about like the kitchen staff or whatever. And it's like, why can't you just at a restaurant? And he's like, why can't you just do your job? And this guy replied to him, it was like, yeah, dude, it's crazy how people can't just do their job. I once had a fantasy running back who had -5 yards for me rushing one year. So like I feel you, dude. I feel you. You just think, just do your job. No, but in all seriousness, dope that he's getting it back. He gets to go to all that Heisman Trust stuff again. Heisman House gonna have to give him get him a room.
Yeah.
So good for him, man. Johnny Manziel, super on board with it. So,
I was about to bring up Johnny Manziel. Yeah,
so check it off.
He's the one who started this.
Check it off the old list, dude.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel has more pull than we thought with the NCAA. He straight up was like, "Hey, I'm not going to any more parties until you give it to him." And they're like, "Oh, okay,
okay." Yeah, I think he's kind of turned his life around a bit. If I've seen what I've seen is correct.
What? So fill me in. So I understand he wasn't the best pro quarterback, and he, liked to have fun. Was he like a drug addict? Like, what do you mean turn his life around? Was he on? Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was like drunk and like like he was like he was pretty rough.
I did not know.
He wasn't like there was like a video of Mike McCarthy.
He attempted suicide. I did not know that.
Yes. Mike McCarthy. Mike McDaniels, the Dolphins head coach, when he was just like one of the random coaches on a team. And like when they go to the film room, it logs hours and stuff. And so Mike McDaniels was like, yeah, I was there in Cleveland when we were getting zeros on the film report, meaning he went and watched zero film. Like, can you imagine just to know who you should be scared of, like not even worried about coverages and all that. Like, this guy likes to do this, and if I see him do it, I need to go away. And so, so there was lots, but he seems to be doing much better. So, good for him. Johnny Football will forever be a legend for those years in Texas A&M. So, hey, you don't always have to be a great pro to live on as legends in our minds.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL draft. I wasn't a big fan of my team's first pick, but overall, I think my team was a winner. Obviously, I'm talking about Washington.
Yes.
I'm one of the outliers. I wasn't a big fan of Jaden Daniels. I knew it was coming. We got rid of Heineke. That the writing was on the wall. We made decisions that forced our hand to get Jaden Daniels. We couldn't not take him once we moved Heineke. Personally, I thought I wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. because of recency bias. I know what Washington does to good young quarterbacks. It's not a good history of it, and I would rather of us take Marvin Harrison, a guy who I think, no matter what, is going to be a promising stud in this league, rather than Jaden Daniels, who on any other team would be great, but on this team, I don't think he's going. I think he's going to blow his knee out. He's going to be misused, and he's going to be, just another quarterback taken high who just kind of, fizzles out quick.
Okay. I personally want to talk about white people's Jackie Robinson. Cooper DeJean, white cornerback, going in the second round. Sassel was certain he was going in the first round. White cornerbacks are back, baby. We're back. We're back. We see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look up and you're like, oh, I could never play corner in the NFL. Not because I'm old or anything. I never practiced for it, Bobby, but because I'm white. And so now, just to know that ceiling is broken, I'm thinking about lacing them up, dude. I'm thinking about trying to become an NFL corner now. So, no, but it was a great draft. Washington, I get what you're saying. I think that's the right move. If you hit, you hit. If you don't, you don't. But it's the athlete. It's the chance.
It's don't get me wrong. It's the right move because of the situation they were in. If they had still gotten rid of Heineke and brought in Mariota and then taken Marvin Harrison, I'm like, okay, what idiot is ratatouilleing the GM right now? Because you can't do that. You have to take a quarterback.
1 through 4. I guess one of those guys actually accidentally got into a different room, which we'll talk about in a minute. 1 through 4 was pretty chalk, pretty much what I expected. 5, really, I hated the Chargers pick of Joe Alt at 5. Not because it was a bad pick for them, but because that was the Titans pick.
100% it was. Yeah.
So a terrible pick if you are a Titans fan. A great pick if you're a Chargers fan. I think you can take Neighbors.
But
you could take
the pick of the night.
You could take Bowers, but you get crushed. If Herbert's getting crushed, you're not getting any of that. I think I know what you're talking about, Bob. Pick of the night has to go to the Atlanta Falcons.
Number 8 Atlanta.
Going with Mr.
Penix.
Michael Penix Jr., 8 overall, which is an interesting thought process.
They saw their man.
They have guaranteed Kirk Cousins has a $140 million contract, 100 of which is guaranteed for 3 years. So even if you want to go the Jordan Love route and say, oh, well, they're just sitting him, they're just getting their guy. Well, they picked Jordan Love at 21 or 22, which is a big difference. They already had a lot of pieces in place, and Michael Penix is 24 years old. So if your 3-year sit plan is 28 when he gets going, everybody chill out on Chris Winkie over here. What are you talking about? It's a terrible pick. I'm surprised. You go any of the amazing defensive talent that's there, but after that, it really,
which they needed
that. It really actually started probably that pick. I wonder if they were trying to make history because, then we did not get a defensive pick until 15? The Seahawks moved up to get Dallas Turner.
Indianapolis Colts at 15 took Laiatu Latu.
So 16 was our first defensive.
Well,
or was it 15?
No, the 15 Laiatu Latu is an edge rusher.
Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking, my mind, it was Dallas Turner going first because they were going. He was going to the
Now, to defend
Falcons.
Atlanta, which is hard to do in this situation.
Go for it.
Like everyone says, if you want your guy, you got to take him. And let's be honest, everyone thought Penix would drop to the second round. I don't think so. I don't think there is a world in which Denver picks Bo Nix over Michael Penix. Denver is taking Penix, I believe.
No, I think they do. I think
crazy.
I think that Sean Payton really liked Nix, and he was talking about we were part of a plan to make people think we were moving up.
I forgot about
we were moving up.
I forgot about that anomaly, which is
so you were trying to trick people into thinking you were taking a guy 30 picks early. I don't like the Nix pick. I'm not a big Nix guy. I don't think that he's what they think he's going to be. I like a little bit of what the Panthers did. I like Xavier Legette. I think that's a good option if he can really break out. Jonathan Brooks really hurts my Chuba Hubbard fantasy prospect, but it's a great pick for them.
Yeah.
I liked what the Titans did. Okay. I didn't hate,
Yeah.
you can never be flashy when you need an offensive line. They did the right pick. If they went somewhere else, I think it would have been a worse draft for them because it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you can't keep your guys upright. So I hated that we had to go Latham, but no worries. I
You
like
can't
Devondre
tilt. Yeah.
Sweat. I like that. We didn't have some picks until a little later, so but a decent overall draft for us. Some good options. I don't like Malik Neighbors to the Giants at all, and I don't like Bowers to the Raiders. I think those are two picks that I'm just not sold on.
Yeah. Also, super ballsy move by Minnesota to just draft Zach Wilson. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Has anyone who's been in the
Yes.
league been drafted on draft night? That's crazy.
That is very, very interesting. I was also I can't believe that. I think that they helped their draft a lot by moving up to get Dallas Turner again. But I'm with you, man. I'm not a big JJ McCarthy guy. I like what the Dolphins did, getting Jalen Wright. Just really, they're just like, we're just gonna kill people with so much speed, dude. I don't care if De'Von Achane gets hurt. We're gonna put in Wright, and then he's gonna get hurt. We're gonna put in our next guy. But going defense overall, I think was great. Not a fan of the Blake Corum pick for the Rams, but they draft great. So who am I to judge? Lad McConkey to the Chargers. I kind of like that. I think that's a good landing spot for him. You got any thoughts there?
Let's see. Let me go. I don't know much about what number was that at? You said
34 in the second round. 30. He went after Keon Coleman.
Okay, lad. Oh, okay.
I meant after Xavier Legette, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. It's 32.
Yeah, I mean, 32. I like it. I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a while before we see anything out of him. I don't think that's an immediate thing. I think that's 3 or 4 years from now.
Well, at the Chargers, they ain't got nobody.
True.
Me and you running out there next season, buddy. They're gonna have to draw a name out of a hat for one lucky fan to like come and fill out their roster, dude.
Yeah, I will say best name of the draft though.
Okay,
if we're looking at like East-West Bowl.
Hit me.
Is Mr. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Obviously, great name. Probably one of the best quotes all year was, I forget whose parents it was that was asked, but one of the analysts said, "How far has this family come?" Like talking about, hey, your boy just went first round in the NFL draft. Like, did you come up from the bootstraps or whatever? She's like, well, we're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You gotta look that one up. That one's great. No quarterback for the Raiders, so we're gonna have either Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell? Am I saying? I'm blanking here. Yeah, Aiden O'Connell, or Gardner Minshew. So I'm intrigued with what happens there. Little speedster in Xavier Worthy going to the Chiefs after the Bills trading down. I don't know how I feel about the Keon Coleman pick. I'm not a big Keon Coleman guy, so Brian Thomas to the Jags. I like that. I think that's great for some fantasy stuff. Troy Franklin kind of fell a little bit, so I was intrigued by that for sure.
And I will say, someone I'm super excited to see more of is Junior Colson, who was just a blast at the interview. I mean, he was having fun with people. He was talking. I mean, he was just talking about where he buys his jackets and how.
You're talking about Keon Coleman.
Oh,
the Bills
sorry,
player.
Yeah, Keon Coleman. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just like,
what? Okay. I thought it was a Chargers guy. For some reason in my head, I thought it was a Chargers.
He was he's the Bills guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, he seemed like a good guy. Like I don't wish any ill on him. I just, it was not one of my top prospects in a really receiver heavy draft. He's the kind of guy, Bob, that it's like, why did y'all get rid of Gabe Davis though? Because that's kind of very up and down like that. Chicago Bears, obviously we haven't talked about them. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze. A little odd that they go for a punter in the 4th round. That was very interesting. Looked like a good punter, but an interesting
punt game's important, man.
Right. It just seems like you're making.
They know
you're
he's going to get a lot of
wrong,
use, so you got to find someone who's
you're
good.
making the wrong call here. You're sending us the wrong message. Tackle for the Bengals, getting that offensive line and defensive line. I like the Jermaine Burton pick, the Alabama receiver there. I think he could be a decent number 3 if it works. So we'll just have to wait and see there. But anybody else? No running back added by the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke coming back to the show.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I used to be afraid of him. He used to give Washington trouble. I think he is what he is, and I don't think it's great. That's not a great team. I'm not too worried about the Cowboys.
We'll have to see. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott could just literally score.
Oh, I mean, they've got athletes.
I don't think
they've got great players, but the team, they're not going to be used
they
well.
They are a Super Bowl contender. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, Bob, but I think they're a team that can go out and be a good, decent regular season team as they have been.
I think they are. I think that is the case only because of the division they're in. I think if they were in majority of any of the other divisions, they would not be a good regular season team. I think they get really lucky about some of the teams they get to see twice a year.
Well, then we'll have to see. Aiden Mitchell to the Colts. Not something a lot of people like him. I haven't been a super high on him. I think that this was a great draft for a lot of teams in a lot of ways. I think it was okay in some ways for fantasy, but I didn't like a lot of the landing spots for a lot of guys. Me and Sass in Dynasty League had a little deal going. Maybe some first round picks were coming in my way, and but it was going to be dependent on where some of these guys landed. And I didn't like Malik Neighbors to the Giants. I didn't like Brock Bowers to the Raiders, at least for what I'm going to be paying for him. So,
yeah,
fun stuff.
Fantasy wise, who do you think is the biggest winner of this draft?
And what? Ask your which player?
Team, player, just overall.
Team wise, no, I'm going to go with player wise. I think that it is Kyler Murray. If Marvin Harrison Jr. pans out, I think he came back and was a top 10 quarterback, top 10 fantasy quarterback with basically nobody. Hollywood Brown out or disappearing from the field, Michael Wilson being essentially his number 1 target. So I think Kyler Murray really benefits through this process for sure. I like that. I think that team wise, that's tough. Let me take a look.
I think while you look that up, I think player-wise for me, it has to be Zamir White. Las Vegas not taking a running back at all, and they didn't renew Josh Jacobs, and they have Madison on a short-term deal. Zamir White is the biggest winner fantasy-wise of this entire draft.
I like that a lot. A vote of confidence in him for sure.
Yeah. Not just that, but we're getting into an era of fantasy running backs where there's a lot of 1-2 punches.
Mm-hmm.
Having an RB1, a sole RB1 in a fantasy league, that's huge.
Yeah, who else did they sign? They did sign somebody else. I thought
they signed Madison.
Okay, so I
a
mean,
cheap
Madison
one-year deal.
could always come in and
As a
steal
bat,
some.
he's a bat.
No,
He's a handcuff.
I
But
I definitely don't disagree with you at all. I think that's great. I think that if Brian Thomas Jr. pans out the way that he's supposed to, or Xavier Worthy, I think that the Jags win and the Chiefs win. Because if they just get a speedster that can just burn some folks, opens up the offense, and they can win by attrition. So, hey, I would like that. You got a team specifically in mind?
I like the Bills. I think them giving Josh Allen the weapons after losing some major weapons, because I thought that Josh Allen was going to be kind of a fish out of water this season, but I think Keon Coleman's going to come in and be a top 25 receiver.
Totally could. Totally could see that. So, yeah, I don't hate that at all. And I would love it as a Josh Allen dynasty owner. So, maybe I might try to go out and with one of my dynasty football league or defense league picks, Ministry of Defense. I don't really need a cornerback right now necessarily, and I usually go for safeties, but it's tough to pass up on either Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry. You know what I'm saying? Like either one of those guys would be a dominant force for my squad.
Yeah. But all right, that wraps up the NFL draft. Let's talk a little bit about the NHL playoffs. We have not spoken to you guys since before the playoffs began, and there has already been some eliminations. There's been some great plays, some ugly games. So let's start off at the top. Florida has eliminated Tampa Bay 4-1. The Panthers era is here, I believe, and the Lightning era is over.
Yeah. They just
got Boston, who
they look dominant. I was just gonna say, they look dominant doing it too, man. Absolutely crushed them last night, 6-1, and that was in a 1-1 game going into the second. About midway through the second, it was still 1-1, and they just opened it up. So yeah, Florida looking good. I can't disagree with you there.
We've got Boston and Toronto, and you texted me during game one, and Toronto came out looking like Toronto.
They did.
I mean,
they did.
Yeah.
Not only in their jerseys,
didn't take them long.
Not only in their jerseys and their, and their sweaters and all of their gear, that was all Toronto, but it was also it was more than a feeling. It was they're playing tonight as we record, right? Yes.
And I believe Boston will close out the series as they are up 3-1 right now.
I think that Toronto goes and wins one more, but I think Boston closes it out after that. So
now that you say that, I kind of thought maybe Boston went home, but it makes so much more sense for Toronto to lose in Toronto.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It just seems like what would happen.
They're not completely incompetent, never won a game. It's just they're never getting out, and so when you go up, when you go from 3-1 to 3-2, that's a moment of hope there, Bob. You know what I'm saying? Because all you need to get is one more, and then Game 7 is in. It's yours to steal at that point.
Yeah.
So there would be nothing more Toronto than giving them a little bit more hope, just to lose it all. Come 2 days from now.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think if somehow they do take it to Game 7, I think they get blown out like 12-1 in Game 7.
If
they end up going.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, Bob. I'm going to throw a little money on that Toronto money line. So that game starts in 6 minutes from us talking right now. So couple days, folks, you'll know whether I was an idiot or making money hand over fist off Toronto's misery.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the first sweep. We've got the Rangers sweeping the Capitals. They looked, they were pretty dominant. 4-1, 4-3, 3-1, 4-2. The Rangers are good. They looked good in the regular season. They look good now. I think honestly,
I think it's one of the first preseasons.
I think Rangers take it.
This is one of the first preseasons that I don't think I put a little preseason money on the Rangers. So of course they will win it, which is fine. They, like you said, they're absolutely dominant. We'll have to wait and see. Is it because there was a lot of shuffling for that last little spot right there that the Capitals got. Well, remember what we saw last year with with Vegas absolutely wiping the floor with Florida. Are the Rangers that good, or is that last spot just open for grabs and whoever happened to fall into it at the end of the season? Washington was not a very good team this season. Pittsburgh was not a great team this season, to the point where they're trading out. So there was some shuffling. But ultimately, one of the teams that was better all season in the Flyers ended up falling out of it, where Washington kind of slid into it. So, not saying that is the case at all, but I will be a bit more wary of that Eastern Conference team. Are they going to be able to? Which team is it? Are they going to be able to physically match up with whichever powerhouse comes out of the West this season, which may be the Predator? We haven't gotten there yet. Folks.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes, who are currently up 3-1 over the Islanders. Again, so recently the Islanders won in 2 overtimes. I think the Islanders are kind of they're fighting tooth and nail to stay in this one, but I just don't think they're a good enough team to beat this Carolina. This is very much a situation of there's a better team on the ice than the other one,
and there's some star power gap there. We always kind of talk about, hey, that's what made that 2017 run for the Preds all that more impressive. Was that we had some great players and some good team chemistry. There was no star power there to speak of. There were guys that we knew and we said were great and were great players, but were never in the forefront. Pecorine, maybe I guess you could argue our goalie. What was that? Forsberg. Was that guy? And not but that's hard when that's your only superstar. Forsberg was good. I wouldn't consider him a superstar at that time. Yossi, maybe, but still kind of on the come-ups. So I think they just lack this star power. However, a scrappy team like that we've seen in the Predators, give them a foothold, and they can scrape through. So I will be interested to see. I think that I really want to say that Carolina needs to close it out, because you don't want to give them a foothold. And Carolina hasn't had a lot of deep playoff run success, so it will. They generally win this first round, but the Islanders are going to give them all that they can give them. But I'm with you. Yeah. I think that no matter which of these two teams move through, I think that they lose in a 6-game series to the Rangers. No problem, no question.
Yeah. Now to one of the first actually entertaining and very close series. We've got Dallas tied against the Golden Knights 2-2. At first, it looked like Vegas was just going to run through this Dallas team. But Dallas has put up a fight. They won an OT, then they won 4-2. So, they play again tomorrow in Dallas. It'll be interesting. I think Vegas takes this series in 6.
Okay.
But
2 more wins for Vegas. I'm going to go.
Excited to see.
Vegas has been my cup winner. I'm going to go with Vegas in 7. I would not be surprised if we're sitting here talking about Dallas playing one of these other 2 teams that we're about to talk about next. So a couple of heavyweight fights for sure at that beginning stage. Vegas, I think they take it as well.
Yeah. Up next, we've got Winnipeg versus Colorado, and this is very much a case of, I think, the Avalanche are better than their record showed. The Jets had a great season, 110 points. the Avalanche 170 points, but currently Colorado leads 3-1. Fact is, Colorado, they knew they've been here before. They've been here a lot. They knew they just needed to get in the playoffs, and they didn't really care who they faced. And they're showing that at, just some dominant wins. They struggled that first game on the road. Winnipeg won 7-6, super high scoring game. Then they won 5-2, 6-2, then 5-1. I think tonight Winnipeg gets another one, but then I think Colorado closes it out at home on game 6.
I think Colorado closes it out. So I think
Okay.
they close it out. They get prepared for Vegas or Dallas, and like you said, man, this is a team. This is a dominant team, and a what could be a Stanley Cup matchup that we're going to get to see in round 2. If any of the four combo of matchups that could go on here, I think we're going to see a good second round and could potentially see that eventual Stanley Cup winner come out of whoever can battle out of this section of the bracket.
Yeah. Now that takes us to a sad portion that might hopefully turn into exciting, but doubtful. We got Vancouver Canucks up on Nashville Predators 3-1. Nashville showed some life there in game 2 with a 4-1 victory, but they have shown that they, as always, play down to their opponent's goalie. The Preds are known that they can make any goalie look like a Hall of Famer, and they've shown it. They went up against a backup goalie it's a good backup goalie. Smith is a good, talented backup goalie. Then they went out against the Smith's backup goalie, the third string, and blew a 3-1 lead. So
yeah,
I think Vancouver. They play tonight. I think at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. local time to us. Yes. I think Vancouver closes it out tonight.
This is part of the problem, dude. Can we talk about this again? They do it. They have to do it on purpose. They have to. They have to put that time on purpose, because there's like other teams that should also be playing late that are like, we'll just have them play early. Like on a Sunday, like they're like on the first game day, it was like not at a normal time for us. I hate it, man. It's so hard for a 9:00 start time. So it's been lack of TV support, I'm sure, by people just falling asleep. We're not chanting at the TVs, dude. We're not doing the magic at it. So no. Vancouver's a good hockey team. You hate to see the Preds kind of lay down. I don't want to say lay down, but give it up at an inopportune time. They really had a good stretch at the end of the season on going into the playoffs on a heater. You almost wonder, Bob, did they go on their heater slightly too early? Did they start it just a bit too early? Did. So Vancouver's a good hockey team.
We see it in front of our eyes.
Predators need to go out and win 3 hockey games in a row. Hey, they won like 12 games in a row. They scored points in 15 games in a row, dude. You can do that 18, for sure.
Yeah.
This is as far as star power goes and full overall team, probably a better team than we had in 17. To be fair.
Oh, for sure.
And now let me ask you this. If the Predators lose this series, should they have to replay it?
Of course. Yeah.
Just to make sure if Vancouver wins 2 series, I'll say chalk it up. That's the better team. Yep. But I just don't think that we should punish a great team like this for a 4 or 5 game stretch of the season, Bob. That's just me talking here.
Yeah. Up next, we've got Edmonton versus Los Angeles. Currently, Edmonton leads 3-1. Edmonton has been pretty dominant in this series, and I think Edmonton makes it out. Don't know how much further they go after this, but they play tomorrow night, and I believe Edmonton closes it out at home tomorrow.
Okay, I agree. I think they close it out as well. I think that Edmonton is definitely the Western Conference finalist from this group of teams. And I think they have a chance to slide by the other squad over there and maybe be that Stanley Cup final contender. I don't think they win it.
Okay.
That's just my thought
disagree.
process. I still think it's one of Vegas or Colorado that are in the Stanley Cup, and I do think they win. Edmonton has to get over this hump. I mean, we've seen Connor McDavid make it to the Western Conference Finals one time, and we kind of thought, okay, this is what we plan to see for a while, and then they've kind of dropped. So he's the leader of points in the playoffs right now with 10. I think it's 9 assists if I'm remembering correctly, Bob. I don't know if you have that somewhere to.
I don't have
it.
I don't have
look.
it.
I might have that. Yeah, a 9 assists, 10 points. So you'd like to see some more goals from him. But Zach Hyman, the goal leader at 6, tied with Valerie Nikushkin. Nikushkin? Did I say it right? So
yeah, that sounds right.
Definitely like to see some more goal scoring specifically from him. But if he's creating points and goals, then it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, just as long as goals are happening.
But all right, so that wraps up our talk on the playoffs. We will talk more about it next week or whenever we the next. It should be next week. And it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, we have good news about the Preds, but we shall see what happens. Let's move into games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
Another season in the books. It was absolutely amazing. I'm going to pull up the final score here in a second.
I'm
going
to be passing the torch to you, Bob. In exchange for my ring, obviously, as we've talked about.
Yep.
You'll get the Stanley Cup. I've already carved in. I didn't do anything previous to last year when we had the cup. So I've already got Bond 23 carved in. I've got Bob 24 carved in here for us. I will pass this along to you, sir. You will get to keep it for the year. Make sure the man with the white gloves is there. You can't touch it. You're not allowed to touch it at all. There is a strange man.
You just touched it.
I'm allowed to. I'm the creator of the cup. These are actually these are skinless gloves that you can't see, Bob. They just look like that.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
You'll have to explain to Megan why there's a strange man with white gloves in your house for the next year, Bob. So
yeah,
it was weird at first, but then it became kind of cool. He doesn't talk; it's like a mime type of situation. I didn't realize that. He does have a gun. He will terrorize you if you try to mess with the cup. So congrats.
So
you
thank you.
I made my push at the end of the season.
Well.
I made my push at the end of the season, but you made a great lead, and you never really dropped any substantial weeks in a row that really gave me any opportunity to get back on you. So, congratulations.
I'm trying to think. I think I had one. I think I only had one bad week. I don't think I ever lost all 3. I think, I never. But so the final score was my record was 31-18. Yours 26-23. So both above 500. So we both know what we're doing. We finished off strong though. I finished off 3-0. You finished off 2-1. So I mean, no better way to end it.
Hey,
it was, you know what? And it came down to the wire because the week before I went 1-2 and you went 2-1. So I mean, it was set up for a dramatic finish.
We were going to pick again, even if we didn't have a show that week, to make sure we completed the cycle. But you won 3-0, so there was really no point in us just playing meaningless games. So there was.
This isn't baseball, folks. We only play if that matters.
I want to make sure that credit is given where credit is due. Where I won't be protesting the season, Bob. Even though it was a 3-game season, Everybody in the record books will talk about this win this year for you. Probably not being as impressive as mine. As this was kind of like the bubble. You won the championship in the bubble, dude. You get it. Your name's carved on there. But I didn't put an asterisk, but everybody will know. Everybody will know, Bob.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hey, and just like everyone talks about, you won COVID year. We all had COVID fog brain, so
that was what I was trying to do. Yeah, I know. I'm not ashamed of it, Bobby. I'm not ashamed that I'll do anything. I'll do any. Dude, the
I'm
people
pretty
are already
sure
clamoring.
you
for
were
me to
actually
get
a
the
super
cutback.
spreader because you wanted to make sure I had COVID fog. So you became a super spreader.
I was tossing vials of COVID out like it was paper towels in Puerto Rico that time Trump was tossing them out, dude. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
dude? I was COVID
Yeah.
vialing people.
Yeah, it was actually the government actually made a mistake. Wuhan is what you called your house at the time.
That was it.
And they just they thought it was the other Wuhan.
They said it's Wuhan, in parentheses, the Bat Cave. And so and so there was a lot of some misconstruing of the facts, which I just let happen because really worked out in my favor that nobody ever asked me about it until you just put this on live radio waves, Bobby. Now everybody's going to be coming up in here. The government's going to be wanting to be up in here in Wuhan.
Yeah, you know what they say, Wuhan ain't nothing to fuck with.
They do say that.
But yeah. But all right, let's move into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
This is hilarious. I love everything about this. Tell us more.
100-year-old woman keeps getting mistaken for a baby on flights, and it says it's because
101.
American Airlines. A 101-year-old woman keeps getting mistaken for a baby on flights and says it's because an American Airlines booking system can't handle her age.
Well, who can?
Ultimately, not in the story, not super funny. Just basically their computer system can't handle it. It's just set for it's only 100 years but my big question is, this has obviously happened a couple of times. Why is this 101-year-old lady flying so much?
Yeah. What is she doing?
That is what I haven't.
Is she a drug dealer? Is she a drug mule?
That's what I'm saying. What are you doing, Patricia? The Centurion, which is a sick thing to be called because she's 100. She's a Centurion. You get it, Bob? You don't get it.
Yeah.
She didn't want her surname to be shared because why? But why though? Why? What are you afraid?
Because she's a drug mule.
I'm telling you, she flies every year to visit family, and the airline's booking system couldn't seem to process the fact that she was born in 1922 rather than 2022. My daughter made the reservation for the online ticket, and the computer at the airport thought my birth date was 2022 and not 1922, she said. During the previous trip, the glitch meant airport staff met Patricia after the flight without prearranged wheelchair, thinking that they would just transport a baby through the terminal. The same thing happened to
I don't like the wording of that.
Yeah, me either. It was very not convenient. The same thing happened last year, and they were also expecting a child, not me. I don't get what the deal is.
Okay, a couple things here.
I guess. I don't know. What's the deal? What does it matter? Why do they have to have the proof?
First off,
tell them. Just call ahead.
Are they?
It's not prearranged.
There's a lot of things here.
No big deal. Just get the wheelchair then. It's happening once a year, dude.
Also,
once a year, call. I don't know. What's up with Patricia's
do they think
family?
this infant is flying by itself? Because are they? Because how often do they meet infants at a gate?
It doesn't seem like
Are they just throwing infants into overhead storage?
Am I like confusing the ability to communicate? Like it's not like
we're not the dumb ones here, right?
Right, dude. We can't be. We might be because we haven't like read the full thing, and it's like very inconvenient. But like,
I think
how many 100-year-olds are flying American, dude? How many American passengers are 100 that we think they need to retrofit their entire thing? Just let everybody think she's a baby. Who cares? If the seat is bought,
yeah.
am I confusing? They're giving her a seat, right? Like, so like you're getting a seat for the baby. Doesn't matter if it's not a baby. Like, is there some?
Well,
we're not confused. Maybe we are confused because we fly Southwest, Bob. Because like we're in just a different. But like the baby gets on,
because Southwest equally doesn't give a fuck about babies or old people.
No, right.
Which is the way
That's fair.
airlines should
That's
be.
Fair. And as Southwest customers, we just kind of get on board with that. F your baby, F your grandma, dude. You're all the same. You're all the same to us. But in American,
babies and olds should not be flying.
But what it sounds like is like they really, at American, they really take care of their baby customers because that's a lifelong,
almost too much so.
And it's honestly, and if we're talking from a purely not the right thing to do for the folks at home, but purely from an economic and a marketing standpoint, yeah, obviously I'm going to be nice to this baby. I'm sorry, Doris, you take one flight a year. And I don't really know that I'm going to be able to count on that revenue next year. No offense. You're 101.
Not everyone is old Patty over here. This 101-year woman flying, every 3 weeks, it seems like?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're trying to make it seem like just like every day Patricia is this seasoned flyer that like she should be akin to a captain that everybody knows her so much. She's flying like once a year. And like, I'm rarely on an airline side. If anything that I can do to hate on this airline, and then hold on. She had to wait until hold on. I'm reading a little more. She had to wait until on the plane until all the other passengers had disembarked while they brought a wheelchair.
As all
I'm
babies
sorry, like Pat. And the thing is if it's already happened, why didn't you just tell somebody early? Hey, I have a note pinned to your chest, Patty. Okay, You're 101. Get this stuff together. I would like them to fix the computer, as my poor daughter had to carry out all our luggage and apparel almost a mile from one gate to the other. This is not how. This is not,
I know what's happening.
This is not it at all.
She's purposely putting her daughter. She's using this as an excuse. Her daughter was like, "Why do they keep doing this? Why do you keep making me carry?" She's like, "I don't know. It must be a computer error." Yes. And then it went up, and now she's gotten caught in a lie, which is why she doesn't want to give her last name.
My daughter has to carry it all the way from one gate to the other. Hold on. Is your daughter flying with you? Then it just seems like you could clear all of this up, because otherwise your daughter's carrying it from one gate to the other. How's your daughter at one gate if she ain't flying with you? It sounds like your daughter is terrible at like understanding.
Yeah.
It happened once. It's 2024. One time it's like, dude, that's super inconvenient. But like, it sounds like the worst thing that happened was that you had to wait on the plane. Did you miss
oh no.
I am not usually. I don't think you've ever heard me side with an airline here, Bobby. Usually, it's a complaint, or it's a snaps my stick. I don't think. I think that you have so few. You should just have a comment box. Please note to us if you're 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, tell us, hey, I'm not a baby. I'm not a small baby. But but also.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to bring it back up, Bobby, but like, you want to know how Southwest knows how old I am? Because like I have like a rapid rewards and like an account type of deal with them.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm never mistaken for 23 or whatever because like they know that I'm not because I don't know. Maybe I'm,
I'd also like to see a picture of this because I know some old people who look like babies.
Yes. Right.
So maybe
what if
she looks like a baby?
What if she's like 13 inches and she's like, we're like, come on. We're like, come on. They actually phoned ahead.
A baby.
They're like, this old lady is actually a baby, dude. The baby typed in.
She
typed in 1922. They meant 2022, dude. They wouldn't have known how to type.
She's all wrinkly. She's wearing a diaper. She has to have someone travel with her.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
Nobody, hey, cancel that wheelchair, okay? Cancel that wheelchair.
Okay.
We're going to carry it through the tarmac like it's some sort of Tarzan baby.
All right, let's move on to what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
I talked a little bit about it on the beginning of the show, but I'm going to talk about it again. My snaps, my stick this week is absolutely nothing. I will let nothing get me down right now. It is almost summertime. The end of the school year is near. It's getting warmer, and we're getting closer to pool season. Next week, I got an email today that we're allowed to wear athletic wear to work, which means I can wear shorts next week.
Dude, a velour tracksuit, dude. Velour tracksuit,
I can and athletic wear, I assume means I can also wear tank tops to work next week because it's also, we have field day for the seniors. So it's going to be a great week. I'm finishing strong. I'm staying optimistic. I'm sure next week something will go wrong and I will have something to bitch about. But right now, it's all up. It's all up.
I'm going to go, since you went no snaps my stick, I'm going to go poor man snaps my stick, which is not really a complaint, but it's like, oh, this was a complaint. Sass and I went to a burger competition, a bunch of local spots around Nashville, bunch of super good burgers. Some places did the normal, like it's like a contest, like we're going to vote on it or whatever, and did a normal size portion for that kind of thought process. Whereas another place did like pretty much a full-size burger with like pimento cheese and bacon on it. Like, dude, what the? This is not a contest burger. This is not. I'm not going to be able to accurately judge. And so, my snaps my stick was because all I could think about the whole time was Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Charles Boyle, and I was like, I should have brought my spit bucket. And then when somebody says, hey man, do you got to do that? I would have said, in a word, yes. Amateurs go out tasting and they fill up by the fifth burger, dude. And I want to keep a clean palate.
Amazing. But all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been great. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast. We'll see you all again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.